Welcome to the Tradies in Business podcast with your hosts Warwick Bidwell and Nicole Cox. Divert your phone and grab a brew as Waz and Nic unpack tips, tales, secrets and stuff-ups from guests both inside and outside your trade, helping educate and inspire you to break the cycle of gut-busting and money stress and create a true trade business.
G'day, Coxie. How are you?
I'm good, Waz. How are you?
I'm fantastic, and I'm super excited. I don't know if I should actually come clean on this.
Come on.
And tell people what's actually happening here with us.
We're going high tech. Look out.
Da, da, da. Everyone was thinking, oh my gosh, they're finally hooking up.
That's hilarious.
Never.
No, it's not happening. Sorry.
Apart from the fact that we're both happily married.
Extremely.
It would be unprofessional.
Would be a bit weird.
It would ruin the podcast.
It would ruin the podcast.
And it is all about the podcast, which, incidentally, a couple of big anniversaries this past week.
We really sound like a married couple now.
Which we haven't made a big deal out of. And I think that's sort of in line with yours and my approach to this whole thing is we don't do it for us and for the fanfare and the hoopla, but in this past week, you and I celebrated our 12-month anniversary.
Woo! We do sound like a married couple. Where's my gift?
On the podcast. Well, I was waiting for you to send me one first,
Exactly.
and then I was going to send you one of the same value or lesser.
I like that.
But no, it's been a year since we actually first pumped out our joint episode, and you became a permanent feature here on the Tradies in Business podcast.
I'm just part of the fixtures now.
You're part of the furniture, Coxie.
I am. I'm the big, soft, comfortable chair.
I don't know what I am. I'm like the footstool.
You're the bony footstool.
The bony footstool, yeah. I could make a joke there, but this is not an FIF episode. This is a Tuesday family episode. So,
it is.
So 12 months of us punching out awesome podcast interviews, and far out on reflection, we've done some episodes. We've covered some ground here in the last 12 months. But there was another anniversary, and it's 5 years since I actually kicked off what used to be called the Tradies Business Show, which is now this podcast, Tradies in Business. 5 years.
It's crazy, isn't it? Congratulations.
5 years I've had this orange thing stuck in my mouth. And I'm referring to my microphone, listeners.
It suits you well.
So we should probably do something for episode 300 because I think we're getting close to 300 episodes.
Maybe we do a live one if it doesn't coincide with Christmas, of course.
Yeah. Which is a fantastic segue, Coxie.
Fancy that.
But the other thing I want to come clean on, listeners, is that Nicole and I are not sitting in the same room.
We're not.
Despite how good this sounds. Well,
and I hope that it does sound good. We don't know
yet.
That's
very assumptive because we haven't done the editing yet. But by the time you're listening to this, so Nicole and I are using this amazing thing called technology to record studio quality audio in our separate studios and then jam it all together through some magical witchcraft thing and bring it to you as though we're sitting in the same studio together.
It might get noisy now because there's a spider on my mic.
Spider. Yep. At least you're not screaming.
No, he's only little. But there's going to be a noise. Hang on.
Don't kill it. You'll upset all the people that would be upset if you killed a spider.
It's okay. I did not kill it. Right. Yes. So how about technology, right?
I know. And, this is the thing. And I actually want to talk about this in today's episode, which really we agreed at this time of year. It's late November by the time you're listening to this. And if you're listening to this in the new year, then where have you been? Why are you so far behind with the podcast and why you're not listening every single week when we release episodes?
How terribly rude.
I know. But it's a mad time of year. I was chatting with my barber this morning. I went and got a quick trim after getting some blood sucked out of my arm for my annual blood tests. But I thought, I'll fly in and grab a quick haircut because I was getting sick of my woolly head. And she asked me what my plans for Christmas were. And I said, told her what I was doing. And I said, I can't even believe we're talking about Christmas already. Like, it's November.
No, it's really flown by, hasn't it?
And she said, yeah, people keep telling me how many days there are to Christmas. And so
Ugh.
we were talking about this whole panic that people get into at this time of year. And we see so many trades on the rough end of the pineapple with this, because everybody wants everything done before the 24th of December.
The world ends at Christmas.
Well, it does in Australia. It's a weird thing. I mean, the Northern Hemisphere, yeah, they celebrate Christmas and it's snowing and it's wonderful and they drink eggnog and, you know, make snowballs and all that sort of stuff. But down here in Australia, there's this weird thing, because it's our summer holidays and it's the long break for school. There's this like flat panic to get everything done, and to try and have an intelligent conversation with a business person between now and the 24th of December is nigh on impossible.
Or to just be actually to have an intelligent conversation with a client in between now and Christmas is emphatically impossible.
I know, and
It's hard.
there's this weird state of panic that people get into. And I guess a topic of conversation around this time just about every year is, how the heck do we manage our headspace and our energy and our businesses and even our cash flow, and not literally just drop the ball between now. So for the next 4 weeks, how do we not drop the ball in our business? You know, how do you keep your marketing going consistently? How do you keep working on your systems and keep doing your team meetings and, you know, keep doing your email marketing and your content posting? You know, so many things just get axed because everybody just gets in this heightened state of hypervigilance. You know, it's like a flighty horse. Every little thing is just like, whoa, oh my gosh. And so I thought it would be good for us to just chat about some strategies for our listeners to perhaps, rather than just survive the next 4 or 5 weeks, is maybe look at it a little differently and turn this into an opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. It is an opportunity. It doesn't need to be as stressful as we all feel it is. And it's something, gosh, I didn't even figure it out until probably, I don't know, 6 or 7 years into business, when I realized that it was the pressure I was allowing others to place on me that was causing the problem. I knew the job wouldn't be finished by Christmas. I knew there was no way I could get X, Y, and Z done. Once I started positioning my clients to understand that, no, it won't be done by Christmas, we're looking at the new year, there will be this break, and educating them on what to expect, everything changed. That pressure lifted. Sure, it's still super busy and there's lots of other stuff going on. It's easy to let go of your regular, I guess, working on the business in favor of trying to push out as much work as you can. But once you step back from that and you understand that actually this pressure isn't real, it's not actually even there, it makes a big change to the way that you deal with it as a business owner.
I love that. That's like point one, is stop bowing to other people's time frames. And that really carries through the whole year, or it should, because so many trades just feel like they need to jump when somebody says, oh, I need it done urgently. And
we do it. That's what tradies do.
Yeah.
If somebody needs something, they're there to serve. They get up, they do it as quick as they can. They try to fit it in, but they're only creating stress in their own lives.
Because despite someone saying that it's urgent, it doesn't actually mean that it is urgent. And how many times you guys in your building business over the years and you know, seen in our members' businesses where they push back a little bit and say, okay, yep, that's great. So you need it urgently done by Friday. Can I just ask you a bit more about that and the time frame? And it's not being rude and pushing back, but it is just digging a little on that to find out, well, how actually urgent is this? Is there poo in your lounge room and, you know, the sewer is unloading itself into your house? Or is it just because you've left the bloody leak dripping for so long that now you just can't handle it anymore and 4 more days is not going to kill you?
It's so true. And it doesn't hurt to probe a bit and understand the true urgency. And what's urgent for you might not be urgent for me and vice versa.
Yeah. And you know, it's just asking some better questions around that and just getting some more facts, and not just because we're in that state of hypervigilance, it's like, oh my gosh, yep, okay, well, I'll just drop everything and I'll be there on Friday. And then how many times have you done this, listeners, when you turn up on Friday and you see what was apparently urgent, air quotes,
Yeah.
and it's like, oh man, this could have easily waited a week.
Of course
I
it
just
could.
changed my whole
times out of
schedule to
10.
do this for this person, and
Mm.
then they're usually the customer that complains about the invoice and they pay late and they don't give you any referrals. So yeah, just I reckon that's a great one. Stop bowing to other people's time frames automatically.
Mhm.
Maybe just dig a
Absolutely.
little deeper on that.
Well, it's only a couple of questions, really, isn't it? All we're suggesting here to do is ask some extra questions around what is determined to be urgent and what isn't.
Yep.
So if let's say you're a subby and you've got a builder called and there's an issue on site and it's a builder that you work for regularly, that would be something I would shuffle for, but I wouldn't shuffle for the new client that you've never spoken to before, who probably doesn't have any ongoing work or is likely to give you the positive review or any positive experience for your business. It's just to place pressure on to get something that they want and need.
Love it. And that leads me to, I'll throw up number 2, which is stick to your plan.
Yes.
So I see a lot of people, because of that state of anxiety and panic, they forget about the fact that they have an ideal client avatar or, niche that they're chasing, and they forget about the fact that they have payment terms and that they have a sales process, and that they've got a 90-day plan, particularly if they're a trade desk member or, in our higher level drawing boards. That guys, I got to find a better way of saying those guys. Those peeps. I'm just going to start using peeps, y'all.
Y'all.
So those peeps have got 90-day plans and they've got strategies that they're working to, and they're ticking them off. And week by week, they're focusing on, okay, what are we working on this week? And just because other people are racing around like headless chickens doesn't mean that you throw your 90-day plan in the bin and go back to being a firefighter, just running from one spot fire to the next. So stick to your plan. And I see the hangover from people who dump their plans in the bin and just go into panic mode leading up to Christmas. They get to January and February and it's like, whoa, our marketing stopped. And now we have this big hole in our cash flow because we weren't actually chasing the quality work and booking it in for January. We were busy chasing after everybody who said, hey, Waz, jump really high right now. So, yeah, my point there would be stick to the plan as much as you choose to. I mean, as much as possible is 100%. But, stick to the plan. You did it for a reason. If you think you need to review your 90-day plan at this point, then, maybe check in and have a look at it and say, okay, is this still relevant? Is this marketing still relevant? But don't stop looking for those quality clients. Don't stop posting on the blog. Don't stop doing your before and after shots on social media and your how-to videos on your Insta page. Like, don't stop that stuff just because other people have lost their marbles.
I think we might have put the cart before the horse there because so many of our listeners might not even have a plan.
Well, I have a solution for those people, Coxie. It is the end of a decade after all, apparently.
True.
Whatever that means.
Time for
another BS arbitrary flipping time frame. But anyway, it's the end of a decade. So, hey, what better reason to have a 90-day plan and some 12-month goals and some better direction in your business than rolling into 2020, like 2020 vision, people? Get on board.
Look, it's easy not to have a plan. You see as well as I do how many tradies we have coming to us don't yet have a plan. And that's, if I could say there was one critical step that you needed to take for the new year, if you're not already doing it, it's to have a 90-day plan.
Now,
it's not hard to do.
A 90-day plan runs for, how many days does a 90-day plan run for, Coxie?
I think maybe 24.
Actually, yeah, you're probably right. It goes for about 9 days, and then they get bored looking at it and forget all about it. And the 90-day plan actually is only about 9 or 10 days. But if you don't know what the heck we're on about with a 90-day plan, think about it. It's 3 months. So it's a quarter of a year. Most businesses look at quarterly performance. Any big CEO is tracking quarterly performance in their business. So do the same in your business. Just because it's just you or you and an apprentice or you and three tradies and 2 apprentices, whatever it is, run your business like a big business and you'll start to get big business results. Doesn't mean you've got to be an a-hole and treat your people like crap, because that's not how big businesses actually run. Unless, of course, it's the National Australia Bank and you lay off half your staff and then expect people to stand in a branch for an hour waiting to see somebody. But anyway, I'm not a disgruntled customer at all.
No ranting today.
It's not an FIF episode. So if you don't know what a 90-day plan is, ask our trade desk members and our drawing board members. They are doing 90-day plans on an ongoing basis, particularly our drawing board members, where Coxie and I are poking them in the eye every week, actually, to make sure they're sticking to the plan. And not surprisingly, those peeps are getting results. They're implementing things. They're ticking boxes. You know, we've got businesses in there that are on the recruitment drive at the moment. Putting on more staff.
At Christmas time, who would have thought?
They're growing and upscaling and recruiting and, you know, putting their prices up and all sorts of crazy stuff.
Fancy doing that at Christmas
because it's
time.
part of the plan.
Exactly.
So if you want to find out more about that, obviously you know where to go, the website, all that sort of jazz, right? But Trade Desk, there's actually some templates in there that you can use to put all this stuff together. And then stick to it. Stick to the plan. Christmas is just a blip on the radar, like the audio meter on the screen in front of me. Just a bunch of blips.
It's an ebb and flow spikes.
So getting through this period, Coxie, what are you thinking?
Tip number 3 for me is making sure that you take some time out. So I don't mean go for a holiday right now in the middle of this period. I simply mean, so for the builder and I, it would be to make sure that we sat down at the end of every day and spent half an hour together just talking about something other than the business. It would mean that we might have a date night on the weekend. So I'm just talking about nothing X-rated, Warwick, where your head always still goes. But I'm talking about just taking some time out for you. It might be water skiing. It might be dirt bike riding. It might be going to the pub with your mates, catching up with your friends for a coffee. Whatever it is, just make sure that you're taking a little bit of time out each week to give your brain that mental space that it needs so that it can run to its premium level.
I like it. Taking time out.
You're taking time out
Yes,
now.
I was just taking a time out. But I think that was more from a punishment point of view. Was time out.
I wouldn't mind being sent to time out.
Adult time out. What does adult time out look like? It's probably a bar in Bali or something, isn't it?
Oh, that sounds fantastic. I was actually looking at someone this morning who, you know, there's this new wave of people that work from Bali. It kind of looks okay.
My idea of time out is, you know, going for a 5-day hike in the mountains or a solo adventure bike ride to, you know, Central Australia. That's my idea of time out.
It's because you're a little bit different.
I'm a bit different.
My idea of time out is lying next to the pool after having just come from a massage or a facial and somebody's delivering me a cocktail.
Well, each to their own. And I'll be blasting past on the dirt bike, showering sand all over everybody on the beach. Dear, oh dear. All right. So 3 is time out. And I think, it's a good one because, again, at this time of year, we start to sacrifice some of the important things. And that probably is going to be mine for number 4, if I could be so bold, Coxie, is stick to the habits that have got you results in the past. I know my other one was stick to the plan, but, you know, day to day, don't get swept up in the in the panic and start sacrificing important things. So I'm going to call this one know your values and know your priorities. So if part of you being able to work hard for long periods of time is that you go to the gym 3 times a week, keep doing that. If it's walking the dog of an afternoon with your missus or your hubby for half an hour, then do that. If it's reading a book, if it's taking, 20 minutes to eat your Subway during the middle of the day, keep doing those things because dropping that stuff is actually going to make it harder for you to keep the pace up for the next 4 weeks. So
it's a really
stick
good
with
point.
those daily habits that serve you well, and know your values. Don't stop having your date night on a Friday night. Like, it's really important that you keep that recipe going, because otherwise you will burn out.
You will, and you've just perfectly segued into point number 5. Point number 5 for me is about nourishing your relationships. So I don't necessarily mean the relationship you have with your romantic partner, but I mean Christmas time, when you're pressured and stressed and everybody else is pressured and stressed, is a great time to nourish your relationships. So your relationships with your clients, your relationships with your suppliers, your staff members, the team that you build around you, any of those networking people that you have in your life, all of those connections are important to be nourished, because at Christmas time, it's very quick to let that go because it's just another thing that you have to do. But it doesn't take much time to check in with someone at the end of the day, or to make an extra moment when you're talking about an order that's coming to see how they're going. Those kinds of things will stand you in good stead for the coming year. If you let it go now, it's very hard to claw it back.
I must admit, I have sucked at capturing the essence of the season in business, because in previous years I'm like, oh yeah, I really should do something for my clients or my alliances or whatever at Christmas. I'll do something. I really should do something. And it gets to, the second week of December, I'm like, crap, I really need to do something this week. And next minute it's the 22nd, and it's like, well, I kind of missed the boat, didn't I? I'll do something next year.
It goes so fast.
It just, as much as I hate the commercialism of it all, I think it is a really good opportunity, as you say, to just, maybe it's a bit of Me Too stuff, like everyone else is doing it. So I'll jump on as well. But not doing it almost becomes noted. It's like, oh, well, you didn't send
Yes.
I got a Christmas card from all my other suppliers, but you didn't send me one.
Yes. And it's not hard to do again. And if you've planned it into your 90-day plan, you will have time in there to nourish those
nice
relationships.
Way to tip the hat to one of our previous points, Coxie.
I did have another one to go into, but it's just gone in one ear and out the other.
I want to chuck one in there as number 6, and then how about you wrap it up with number 7? So this will be our seven ways to turn the silly season into a positive. Number 6, it's a little bit related to 5. It's like 5.1. Is remember the reason for the damn season. And whatever your beliefs, if you're a Christian or a Muslim or a Calathumpian or whatever, it doesn't matter. Whatever your reason for Christmas is, or whatever you take from that, just remember that. It's not about getting as much work done as possible or getting swept up, I think, in the hype. And, some of these are fairly closely related, but just check back in. It's like, well, what is this time of year, whether you call it summer holidays or whether you call it Christmas, I don't really care. But what does it actually mean to you, and what's most important about it? And try and bring that into your business and your business dealings. Be a leader out there in your business and in your industry. And instead of being another stressed out, angry, burned out tradie, why not choose to be that person who's like, hey, just chill, man. We'll get out there. What if we come on Monday instead of Friday? And that way we'll all be a lot less stressed. You'll still get the job done. We'll do a better quality work, and we'll be able to do it at probably a reasonable price as well. But if you're going to lose your berries about having it done this Friday because the ham's being delivered on Monday, that's going to be bad for all of us. So would you be willing to work with us on that, Bob? It's like, be a leader, stand out from the crowd, and be someone who's willing to represent what holidays and summer here in Australia and Christmas and everything could actually be all about, instead of this manic thing that everyone complains about. Everyone I talk to at this time of year, it's like, oh, I hate this time of year. I bloody hate Christmas, and it's crazy. I can't get a car park, and the queue at at Dan Murphy's was, half an hour long the other day. I couldn't even get me 6-pack. It's just, it doesn't have to be that way, but it requires each of us as individuals to be willing to actually lead and be different. That's my number 6.
I like it. That was a good one.
Oh,
I've got number
go.
7. I've remembered.
I was like, come
you
on,
ready?
Foxy. I'm watching your face on the video here going, I think she's got number 7 ready to go.
I've got it. I'm ready. It's reflection. It's the one thing we all forget to do because we're too busy. But take a moment to pause and reflect over the year that you've had. Have a think about the changes you've made in your business. Have a think about where you've come from at the beginning of the year, what's changed to get you to this point at the end of the year. Reflect over what you might like to achieve next year. Start to plan. Start to get excited about the future. When you're thinking about something other than the busy hustle bustle of right here and now, you start to feel a little bit more grateful for the journey that you've been on. And oh my goodness, when we're feeling grateful, things go well. It's a really simple one, reflection. It's something we should all be doing over this period.
I like reflecting in the bottom of a wine glass.
Yeah. I don't believe you ever reflect in the bottom of a wine glass.
No, I do have the odd glass of wine, Coxie. It's very odd.
You do, very rarely.
Yeah, I like that one. It's just a bit of navel gazing is good. And
it is good. And
no, that's okay.
Sorry,
you were more excited than me about what you were going to say. You should say yours.
I was just going to say, I think one of the big things that we do as business owners as well over the Christmas break is totally let go of the business, but that's not always the best thing to do. It's a great time to start to plan and dream about what you'd like to see change in the future.
And in fact, but a shameless reference back to Trade Desk and Drawing Board and our one-on-one clients is part of what we, depending on the level of accountability that they pay us for, part of their work over Christmas as working with us is to actually sit down and start thinking about 2020. What do they want it to look like? What are some key things they need to get out of next year to feel like it's been successful? And actually using that time away from the day-to-day manic business stuff to work on the business. It's the perfect time to do it. And, so many of us are catching up with family and we have that little bit of space to do exactly what you said, is reflect on, well, how did we go this year? I mean, how am I feeling about it all? And am I happy with that? And I don't know. And often it's a time for people to do the whole New Year's resolution thing, but, make it more about setting an intention for the coming year. It's like, have a look at 2019. How did that roll for you? What would you change? 2020 is the opportunity to do it. So take that week or 3 weeks or whatever you tend to do over the Christmas period or the summer holidays. And jot some stuff down, Coxie. Write down your reflections.
It's not hard to do.
And then join the Trade Desk or the Drawing Board and share it with us. And we will rub your nose in it every single week to make sure you do it.
We're very good at that. Like they're little puppies. We're going to rub their nose in it. Poor little thing.
Reflection. I love it. So there is 7 ways to what wanky slogan can I come up with, Coxie, to thrive, not survive this silly season?
Oh God, that sounds terrible. Nobody's going to listen to this podcast if you call it that.
Thrive, not survive this silly season.
What about smash through the silly season? Oh, stop it.
Yes, I like it. Yeah, there's some good points in there, actually. I should probably implement some of those in my life.
I think both of us could take a
to
leaf
be brutally
out
honest,
of our own book.
Before we hit record on this episode, Coxie and I both sat here on the microphone going, oh my gosh, I need a holiday.
We did, didn't we? We did it really well. We had a good old bitch session.
Because it has been a busy year for us. And I'd probably, I wouldn't mind just wrapping this episode up, Coxie, with a bit of not a year that was for us. We might do that over the coming weeks as an ep, but we've had some big stuff this year. 12 months on the podcast. We've been actually working together on Tradies in Business now for 18 months or more. We have released like 3-4 products. We've revamped both of our websites. We've knocked out nearly 100 episodes together on the podcast. We've actually employed our first team member, which is super exciting.
I know. I'm so excited about our first team member.
That's already going really well. So I expect to see her posting in the group and responding to some of your questions and getting more involved in our business. And so we've got some big plans for 2020. We've got more new products being worked on at the moment. We're going to launch a new Tradie Business Essentials program into the new year. We've got some small downloadables that you can grab for about the price of a 6-pack or a carton of ciggies. I can't believe the cost of ciggies these days. Cancer sticks are expensive.
They are expensive.
Oh my gosh. I was standing at the grocery store buying eggs or something the other day, something healthy. And the person ahead of me was umming and ahhing over which packet to get because they had some special offers on, but of course they can't display any of the product and you got to ask about it. And I'm standing there going, come on, it's Christmas. I got to get out of here. I got so much to do. But she opened the roller door on the cabinet. I looked at the prices and I actually asked the checkout attendant to be gender correct. And I said, how many cigarettes in one of those packets for $23? And she said, 20. I was like, you're kidding me, right? She said, no, that's some of the cheaper ones. She said the premium ones, it's like, you get 15 in a pack for like $30 or something.
Jesus.
Well, I had some cheese, so I preferred to eat cheeses. But that's a lot of cash for some coffin nails. But anyway, so new products next year. We're going to do a live. We're going to do a meetup somewhere, Coxie.
We're going to do a few. It's time.
And we've just got to get the right town and the right people. But, we're going to get out there amongst our tradie community. So we've got big plans for 2020.
We do. We should do a stadium tour.
Which stadium? Like we'll do the Wagga Soccer Stadium or something.
Can we?
I know.
Wagga's perfect. It's my hometown. We'll drop in there.
Rock the War Memorial
That'll
or something. Because that's my birthplace. We'll do the steps of Parliament House in Canberra. Probably get arrested.
Have all the politicians throwing eggs at us.
So we got a big 2020 coming, and we'd love to hear what your plans are for 2020. What's your 2020 vision?
Please tell us.
And I've got plans for more corny one-liners, puns, and dad jokes. You're be working on my A game for 2020.
I think you got the hole in the bonbons.
Do you know
I
had a gig writing those? No, I'm only kidding.
Did you really? Yeah, okay.
All right, I should stop dribbling. This is meant to be a very informative how-to episode, and I'm slowly spiraling off into an FIF style dribble because it is.
Yes,
it is Friday.
Maybe we should record one of those next.
Tell us what you think of our 7 ways to crush Christmas. So stop bowing to other people's time frames. Stick to your plan, your 90-day plan. Take time out. Make sure you keep the daily habits going. Nourish your relationships. Stand out and be a leader at Christmas time. Don't be like everybody else. Be calm and nice, and take some time for reflection. There's our 7 things. It's like the 7 dwarves.
I think I've impressed myself. That's a
we
good
should get this
list that we've made
into a blog or something useful. Yeah.
We should. I think it'd help a lot of people.
So thanks for listening. Thanks for listening to us for the last year. It's been fantastic to see our listener numbers grow and the level of interaction and the number of listeners who have actually jumped on and joined the trade desk and the drawing board. It's really awesome to see people stepping up and taking some responsibility for their results and entrusting us with that. So we're very grateful for the opportunity to work with those of you who have done that, and to all of you in the free group as well on Facebook. It's great to see that growing. We're approaching 1,500 trade business owners, which is just mind-blowing to see So many people in there and some fantastic
Awesome.
conversations. And we're looking to step things up even more in 2020 with you all. So, hooroo.
Thanks for being here.
How do I stop this thing?
You've been listening to the Tradies in Business podcast with Warwick Bidwell and Nicole Cox. Find out more about today's guest, tools for your trade business, and other cool stuff at tradiesinbusiness.com.au.